What's up, guys? How's everyone doing today? It is Thursday, April 23rd, 10:15 a.m. I will be going live once again at 1 p.m. my time, so in about 3 hours. The second live stream today will be solely focused around the UFC card with headline by Aljamain Sterling and Zalal. So I'll be doing that live stream with Nick from Breaking Bad. If you have notifications turned on my channel, you would have got a notification. That's at 1 p.m. Australia time in about 3 hours. It's currently 10:15. We're going to talk about the fights that are taking place in less than 7 hours. So the undercard in Australia starts at 4:30 p.m. here. So that's about 6 hours from now, 6.5 hours. I've given you guys, if you're a JSB insider, if you've joined on YouTube or Patreon, you should have 6 tickets. So I'm going to be giving you at least 2 more. Our long-term parlay is still live. That started a few weeks ago. That ends in July. It pays about plus 550. That's still live. But then I gave you, today I released our long parlay, plus 113. There is our UFC triple, plus 609. Our UFC underdog, our dog of the week, plus 121. We have a knockout prop double in Australia, plus 446. And then an Australian A-side parlay, plus 104. So, it might not be, these names might not jump off the page for you guys internationally. We are an international show. Even though I live in Sydney, a little bit more than 50% of you guys tune in from America, 10 to 15% from the UK, all around the world, Russia, South America, and then Australia as well. So I know these guys. The Australian card today, I've seen all these guys fight. There's an Australian card next week with Sky Nicholson. She's headlining. Jake Wiley's on that card. Anthony Mundine's son is on that card. There's a lot of little prospects that I know of who are on that card. So, and then we have, like I said, we just got to make do. This is what we always do. No matter who they give us, we're gonna make money, and that's the mindset I have. That's the mindset you should have, especially if boxing is your favorite sport, man. We don't have seasons. We have boxing every week. It's not up for it's not up to me to. I'm not a matchmaker. What actually excites me, what I find most interesting about what we do as a team is no matter who's fighting, this is my favorite thing about what we do as a team. No matter who's fighting, I love seeing the odds. I love seeing, I don't care if I've ever heard of the guys. I love looking at the odds that Vegas puts out, and then from there, then you do your research and then figuring out where they got it wrong and then winning. That's fun. We're playing like in real time a live game with consequences for our bank account. I'm not a gamer. I don't play video games. Like the only video games I ever grew up with growing up were like I had an N64, so like Mario Kart. And then in college, all my boys played NCAA college football. We played Madden. But other than that, I never played video games. So I look at this as kind of like a video game with real life consequences, which is good. As you guys are tapping in, like this video. Let me know how you're doing. I'll leave the stage up for you guys. A lot of the insiders will know who my picks are already. If you want any reasoning, if you want if you're still torn on who to go with tonight, about the Jerome Miller card, if you want the Matchroom card, there's a lot of fights. Sufi Umaha is fighting this weekend. Do you guys remember him? He was an Olympian who was an 8-1 favorite who got upset last year. He's a French Olympian. He just showed up on my books. There's a lot of random fights, but with randomness comes opportunity, right? Opportunity. So I'm going to start saying what's up. Excited for me too, man. I'm excited for this fight card. Connor Wallace, I don't have a Connor Wallace knockout prop, but if I could, I would be taking Connor Wallace by knockout, Max McIntyre by stoppage. You guys know I like Benny Mahoney, and you guys know I like Jason Maloney. And these stoppages, and if you're in the Discord, you know what? I'm going to play this for you. I'm going to play this for everybody, for those who aren't in the Discord. Just so I don't have to repeat myself. Guys, I'm going to leave the link pinned in the comment section. It's a couple bucks a month. Become a JSB Insider. You can support the channel here or become a Patreon, whichever one you do. You get access to our world famous Johnny Says Boxing Betting Academy, and click the link to find out more. Okay, let me get to stage. I'm going to see if this will play. If it's not going to load, I'll just repeat what I told everybody. It's no big deal. Discord is slipping. Discord is slipping. All right, here we go. So this is a message I sent to everybody in the Discord chat in our community, and I put, you know, what I just told you. Max by knockout, Connor by knockout. If Connor and Max open up on my books, I'm adding them to the parlay. You guys heard it here first. If you don't see the tickets shared, just know that if those options open up, I'm gonna play it. Here's why. Something I should mention, I brought this up for Pinnacle, but he had a lot of hype around him when he was younger, trained by Johnny Lewis. He started Wanderer Promotions a few years ago to compete with No Limit Promotions. Now, they're slowly building, they're slowly putting on these cards. Trust me when I say this. What gets eyes on the sport? Knockouts. That's all I'm going to say. The matchmaking currently is A-side feeder. The 4 fights, if you could get them, Connor Wallace, Ben Mahoney, Jason Maloney, and Max McIntyre by knockout. If the Max McIntyre by knockout prop opens up, I'm playing that. And same thing with Connor Wallace. Okay. So yeah, we could talk about that. Why is that important? Here's why that's important. The reason why that's important is because for years, at least 7 years, maybe longer. For me, I always like my live. I have 2 benchmark moments in my life in Australia. When I got here in 2013 and then the pandemic in 2020. So No Limit Promotions has had sort of a stranglehold on Australian boxing pay-per-view, and a lot of that had to do with signing Tim Tszyu, okay? And whatever that is. Now, over the last few years with, you know, the disgruntled domestic scene here with a lot of talented fighters not getting opportunities and a lot of other shows not getting opportunities to be sort of uplifted on KO Sports, you know, not really having a public platform to stream fights on, except if you're paying for that KO Sports streaming service. And even if you are, most of the time, down here in Australia, we're paying $70 to see Nikita Tszyu fight a foreigner with 4 losses. It's crazy. Like we had a so I say all that to say this. Ricky Calissimo started Wanderer Promotions, and over time, they've been, you know, they're new on the scene. Their cards have been getting better and better. The production has been getting better and better. And so they're still growing, though. They're still trying to, you know, stake a name for themselves in the Australian boxing scene landscape, and they're doing a good job. And with matchmaking, though, when you're trying to make waves, create waves, you want viral moments. And look, this isn't supposed to sound conspiratorial, but what controls virality? Social media. You want those moments, especially in boxing social media, of dudes getting knocked out, crazy highlight reel sort of things. And say what you will, if I was running a promotional company that was trying to make waves, that was trying to grow, I would be thinking about that in my matchmaking when I'm creating these cards. Ricky is a former fighter. He was a good fighter at that. He knows what he's doing. I've taped these guys. I know these guys. That is the first thing that came to mind when I saw who Jason Maloney was fighting. I was like, oh shit, he's fighting Donovan from Ohio, Ulrichsville, Ohio, a club level Ohio kid coming to Australia. So they're paying Donovan's flights. They're paying for his flights. They're paying for the hotel. all that sort of stuff. That's what you do when you're the A side. I got experience doing this, managing a fighter. I talk about it all the time. So I learned about that side of the game. And then you look at Max McIntyre's fighting a 40-year-old guy from India, but he calls Australia home. His best days were in 2017 when he beats Reynold, Aboriginal guy, Reynold Quinlan. And Reynold Quinlan had a couple good wins too. I think Reynold Quinlan upset Wait Ryan when Reynold was like a 6-1 dog. This would have been probably 2021. So my point is, um, Max McIntyre's opponent, who's 40 years old now, best moments were like a decade ago. And on paper, it looks like, he could pop a little bit, only been stopped once. Max McIntyre could crack. He's exciting. He's fun for the domestic level Aussie scene. They're in their, the Wanderer promotions are in their phase of building stars. So keep that in mind. Jason Maloney, we talked about. Connor Wallace could crack. Connor Wallace is fighting a guy who probably shouldn't be in there with him. It's probably why we're not getting a knockout prop. And then Ben Mahoney. Ben Mahoney is a guy who's been on my radar. When I was doing this Lethway documentary in 2020, 2019, 2020, I had people sending me footage of Ben Mahoney then because I was doing this documentary on a sport out of Burma, Myanmar, called Lethway, and I was traveling the world with the world champion named Dave Leduc, and it looks like Muay Thai. So there were a lot of Muay Thai fight, and Dave Leduc, the Lethway champ, had been training at Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand. And so I had been getting a lot of Muay Thai fighters following me at the time on Instagram. They're like, you should check this kid out. You should check this kid out. And that's Ben. And one of those kids was Ben Mahoney. So I had my eyes on him. And then he had just flipped. He had just gone from Muay Thai, kickboxing to boxing. And he's a technical striker. And boxing really suits him. He could crack. He could punch. And I think this matchup is kind of built for him as well to elevate his name. He's already in the top 15 as well internationally on BoxRec's algorithm. So those are so when you watch the tape, if you have any questions, if you're hesitant, I am going full unit on Maloney and Mahoney by knockout. It pays plus 445. All the other parlays, I did an Australian plus money parlay, full unit. And anything could happen though. This is I'm feeling good going into tonight, by the way, if you couldn't tell. We've had a great year. From January onwards, we've had an amazing year. We've had week after week after week. I'm really responsible with my money. I'm really frugal. I don't care about shiny things. You know what I'm saying? So I don't waste money on objects. I'm in a good spot, and hopefully you're in a good spot. And going into tonight, fingers crossed, we remain on this roll that we are. And if you have any questions, let me know. Jason Maloney, odds say it's going the distance. Don't they always say that though, PJ? PJ, don't they always say that? Didn't the odds tell us last week that PJ, what did the odds tell us last week? Give me 1 second, baby. Just to remind everybody, the odds also told us last week not to bet Sam Gilly by knockout at plus 600, right? The odds told us Sam Gilly was going to lose. He was the underdog. So the odds told us not to do that. What else did they say? They told us not to play Denzel Bentley by knockout at plus 250, because he was maybe going to get upset. What else did they tell you? Irma Garcia, they said don't play her. She's 44. She's 44. She's fighting Emma Dolan. Don't play Irma Garcia. She's fighting Emma Dolan. Do we listen to the odds, boys? We make our odds. This is what we do here. JSB Insiders, we make our odds. We deal with the odds that they give us, but are we going to listen to what they tell us that we need to listen to? Look, just go down my Instagram. Corey Marksman, Carlos Adames, Barbo. They told us, but look, the list goes on and on, really. I mean, if you need examples, PJ, of when the odds, Jaya Pataya on points. Do you remember the Abel Ramos? Remember they told us Abel Ramos was a plus 480 underdog? Did we listen? No. Navarrete moneyline. Did we listen? No. Richardson Hitchens. So you get my point. I don't have to drown you with the past. Let's focus on the future. I don't listen to him, PJ. You feel like every Australian fighter. I feel like the A sides win tomorrow. I do. And it's on me if they don't. I'll be here tomorrow if they don't win. Look, if you're once again, we should have this chat. We have this chat every week. If you're chasing losses, don't bet heavy tonight. If you're like, look, scared money doesn't make money. I really believe that, and it's almost like a guy who's betting on their favorite sport. I'm not talking about a degenerate. I don't bet on. Seriously, I usually only bet on boxing and MMA. For the boys in the Discord, like yesterday, we hit a plus 1,000 parlay yesterday on the live because I did an NBA prop. So I am a prop better NBA and American football, but I wouldn't call myself a better because I do it just so I could enjoy watching the game. You know, so but I don't do it with intentions of making a lot of money. I do it, you know, with a little sprinkle here and there. So what I mean by this is I'm really loose right now. Like it's just like a fighter who's in a groove. It's just like when you're watching a fighter and he's just in there. Everything is working. He's loose. He's not overthinking. He's not second guessing. That's kind of where I'm at as a bettor. So I think it is cyclical. We do go through our lows, and then you make adjustments when you're losing. But at this stage of the game, if you're betting and you're losing, you're going to be a bit stiff. You're going to be second guessing. So take a week off. If you guys find yourself and you're in a hole, take a week off. Don't bet this week, okay? You know, have some strategy about it, have some understanding about it, have some intelligence about it. If you're going into the night, I need a win. Rent's due. Don't bet, okay? Please don't. Please don't. But if you're out there having fun and you're loose and everything's work, I mean, this is it. I don't know what else to tell you. You know, scared money don't make money means that when you're in a hole, and I'm speaking from experience from the past. Before I started doing this, I used to chase. I lived in Vegas for multiple years. I told you guys that. I worked on the Las Vegas Strip in the Planet Hollywood Casino, and I worked in the Wynn Casino. So two really nice casinos. And I've been around it my whole life. You know, gambling, running numbers. You know, having bookies in Northeast Ohio when I was 12. So it's always when you're losing and you're making bets and you're not loose and you're second guessing things and you're trying to pick precisely, you're trying to be precise, so you're looking at big favorites, and that's not what this is. I tried to find an underdog on this card. I don't see one. I don't see one. You guys should know that by now about me, is that if I see a dog, I'm going to jump on it. If I think that there's going to be a massive upset, I'm going to tell you. I don't see one. Does Sky beat Mariah? I know both girls. I think she should beat her. This is Sky. This whole card's built around Sky. Just remember that. Sky's gonna be a level above. Sky's been trending too, man. Since she went down, she's been a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more volume. You know, cutting the range where she fights at. She's cut the ring in half per se. So like sitting on her punches, more trusting her shots. I see her in her last few performances being more confident in her tools. Her natural athleticism, her natural movement patterns, her natural sort of instincts have gotten her to where she is, but she learned a lot in her loss. And so since that loss, I do like the adjustments that she has made, specifically offensively. I think she should handle Mariah. What's up, Jay? Look, and before I read King's comment, I'm not trying to make anybody second guess your bets, because with these knockout props, the points will be good value too. If you see something in the tape and you know you're playing your odds based on what you see and how you see this fight trending, because there is a knockout I'm playing, it's only 8 rounds. So, you know, the knock on that would definitely be like, bro, he only has 24 minutes to get the knockout. That's pretty risky. And I generally don't like to play knockouts when they're under 10 rounds, right? So I do see that. If you see, I know Gorilla messaged me in our Discord. Shout out to Gorilla Elite. He likes max on points. And I can see that. But I'm really loose right now. You know, I'm checking down 2 times and throwing the deep ball. I feel like Max and Ben both get it done. Got him on a parlay. Let's go, King. Harley, morning from the UK. Happy honey boys. We're up. Yeah, so it is 10:30 a.m. in Sydney, Australia, April 23rd. Wherever you in the world I say welcome. Guys, let's like the video. We're floating between 45 and 65 at the moment. We're just getting cooking. I'm going live again at 1 p.m. in 2.5 hours with Nick from Breaking Bad to talk all things UFC. You guys in the Discord and on our Patreon, there are 2 tickets so far for the UFC. I gave you a UFC triple and my dog of the week, but this is our boxing live stream. Let's get this bread. We get GMS. We're gonna get this bread. We're definitely going to get. We put as a team. We put too much energy into this. This is what we do. This is we've created a sport. Like I look at this as I would if you guys are just as competitive as I am. I don't know your sporting background, but I assume a lot of you guys had sporting backgrounds when you guys were younger. And the way, the energy, the preparation I put into this is the same exact thing. I was like, because I know there's guys with bigger profiles than I am online who do this, and you think I want to? We climb to our results, actions and outcomes. Actions and outcomes will continuously allow us to grow, and that's what's happening. I think Maloney on points only has one gear and predictable standard box style, doesn't have a plan B. I could see that too, but my issue. Let's bring it up. Here, let me show you. Let me show you my issue. And hopefully you already have this locked in. Because I'm going to tell you my lean on this, and I don't want you to change your mind because this is your lean, right? My goal isn't to change your opinion. My goal is to just have a conversation and see both sides. In the knock on Maloney, he's 35, dude. Maloney's best years were probably, the era, and they were when he got knocked out against Inoue. The climb, a lot of buzz, man. There was a time where the buzz around Australian boxing were the Maloney brothers. And then that knockout happens, and then Zoo kept winning, and then that kind of flip-flops, and you just kind of pass the torch. But here's my issue with his opponent. Firstly, let's look at the odds. What we'll do is check out money line. We'll do our 3 options. So Maloney on the money line is $1.14 favorite. 100 on him just on the money line gets your money back plus $14. Andre Donovan is a plus 525 dog. 100 on him gets your money back plus 525. Now, when you're looking at the odds, Maloney on points, an 81% return. I do, full transparency, have Maloney on a parlay on the money line. I have him on 2 parlays. A long parlay I just put out today, and an A-side money line parlay that I put out 3 days ago for the JSB insiders. From there, on props, I'm looking at value. I'm looking at Maloney as the former world champion, and I'm going to bring up the box recs. Not even plus money. You're giving me an 81% return on a prop that I'm really not in love with. 81% return, 100 gets you your money back plus $81, which is fine as a parlay piece. It's a great parlay piece. But because I've already used Maloney twice, I'm looking for props here. And I'm seeing the knockout at plus 180, and here's why this excites me. So a little bit about Maloney, 28-4, fighting a bantamweight. You don't see many bantamweights with a 71% career knockout to win ratio. What's that tell you about his style? Fan-friendly style, right? He is 35 years old. He's 5'5" with a 65-inch reach. Over 30 pro fights, over 200 pro rounds. Experience. The only time he really ever looked over his head was when he got knocked out against Inoue. But who doesn't? You know what I'm saying? Who doesn't look over their head against Inoue? Here's his opponent. Box rec be trippin'. Box rec is slippin'. When I can't click the link and the screen is frozen. Box rec be trippin'. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. I can't click this link. All right, I'll do that. This is his opponent. Okay. 12-2, 14 pro fights, 50 pro rounds. So Maloney has over 200 pro rounds. Donovan has over just 50, right? He only has, this is his 15th fight. The experience is insane, right? So then you're like, okay, Donovan must have been a storied amateur. Let's click on his. I know BoxRec doesn't always show all the amateur fights. Verifying device. Rate my agent. What the hell? No amateur career. None. So not a storied amateur. All right, then what's going on here? Let's look a little deeper with Andre Donovan. You look at his tape, not a lot online. He's 5'3". He's already in his. I don't want to misspeak here. I think he's already in his. How old is Andre Donovan? He's 29. He just turned 29. Okay, so he's in his physical prime, but let's see who he's been fighting. Not a lot there, guys. This is a massive step up for him. He fights like a puncher, though. His style is going to be aggressive enough that he feels that he's not going to win. He's not going to beat Jason Maloney on points. I think this is a tailor-made fight for a knockout. He just fought last year. He was fighting 4-rounders. You know what I'm saying? He turned over when? 2022? 2021? This is a club-level Ohio kid. Last year, he's fighting 4-rounders. He fought his first 8-rounder in 2025. This is his first 10-rounder. I think he's going to be in way over his head. And I think that this is what I'm leaning on. And this is why they're bringing him over to they're paying for the flights. They're bringing him over. And everything I heard is Maloney is a guy who still feels he has one more run. He gets an electric viral knockout here, grabs the mic, makes his shot, makes his call. This is a guy who's still switched on. I got Max McIntyre, Ben Mahoney, Alvarez, Jacob Bang, Nishantev, Jared Anderson, Moneyline. I like this parlay. I think it hits. Yeah, I do too. I like Jacob Bank by knockout. Any thought on the Cuba card? Lazaro Alvarez. I was looking at it. Sofian. Cuba. I thought that card was in Panama. They wouldn't have a card in Cuba, would they? Am I tripping? It's in Chile. It's in Chile. Chile. Yeah, I was like, they wouldn't have that card in Cuba, mate. I was looking at it. There is I might not play. I'll bring up the odds. There's a fight where it's questionable. Landy Alvarez. So Landy Alvarez is a massive favorite. I think he's on upset alert. I'm not saying I'm going to play him to lose, but when you're looking at these odds, so Jose Nunez, he's a plus 725. He's 17-0. Now, Landy Alvarez has 5 pro fights. So Landy Alvarez has 5 pro fights. And I'm not saying I'm playing it. This is why, though. Just why I'm questioning the odds. So Alvarez is a guy with 6 pro fights, 6-0, 2 knockouts, right? Turned pro in 2023. He's a 7-1 favorite. I know Jose Nunez, his record is padded. I couldn't find too much tape. He's fighting a Panamanian fighter, 17-0. The reason why this kid is a 7-1, I'll tell you, if you didn't know about his last fight. I mean, he has a win over Omar Salcido. Obviously, his pro experience is massive. He's been in 10-rounders the last 3 years. It was this Alfredo Luis Soto fight. In that Soto fight, it was ruled a no contest, but he got dropped 3 times and then he got stopped. And then and it was initially ruled a knockout. And the reason why his record says he's undefeated is then Soto was ruled to have popped dirty for steroids. And then they said that was a lie, so they just made it a no contest. That was his last fight. I'm not betting that fight. I'm not betting. I don't. Let's go to the odds. I don't like any of those fights in terms of. Do I have action on any of these fights? I have to check. I don't think I do. You know what I was gonna do, Mr. Ward, is I was gonna wait to see what happens tonight in Australia, and then I'm gonna make a play tomorrow on those cards throughout the weekend. But I do have my eye on those fights. Mr. Ward, I think Alvarez wins. Got him parlayed already. There's 2. The brother. I don't know if they're brothers. I think Max McIntyre gets it done at all costs. Let's go. Ben Mahoney, I don't see him losing. If he does, it would be pretty crazy if Ben Mahoney loses. He's fighting a really stiff opponent. Look, these guys were put in there for a reason. I don't know who Drew McIntyre is. Hope you get those knockout props. Yep, appreciate you. Max McIntyre, yeah, knockout. I don't know who Drew is. Guys, do we make our odds or listen to? Guys, do we make our odds or do we listen to what they tell us? That's right. PJ, you know what time it is. They told us Sims. They told us Sims was. Yep, they did, and we were like, hell to the dude. Talk about Barbosa on points. We were eating. It happens all the time. Look, go to the. You see all the receipts on my social media. That rundown of plus money winnings tickets was poetic. It goes deeper and deeper, mate. It goes far back. It's what we do, guys. It's what we do. They told us they did. How dare they tell? You know what fight I really want to see? I know we have to see how Shock looks against Savage. I think Shock is going to handle Ray Savage. I think he's a level above. Then that would make us then we'd see a unified fight at 130 between Navarrete and Shock. That fight, if you'd asked me 2 years ago, does that fight excite you? I'd say no. But this recent version of Shock Foster and what we just saw with Navarrete against Sugar Nunez, and hopefully if that Foster is the same guy who fought Cool Boy Steph and he dog walks Savage, which I think he'll win a pretty convincing decision, that's an exciting fight now. Sup, Johnny? Just finished watching some of the Senate submissions regarding the Ali Act. Is it fair to say main concern with having a league is that ultimately 100%? It's 100% because with the Ali Act, the biggest thing that the Ali Act supports is the fact that fighters have a say in their contracts. In the UFC, if you're a UFC fighter, they tell you where the fight card is going to be. You're on this fight card. They tell you pretty much who you're fighting, and based on longevity, time in the league, or where you are placed on the card, or if it's a pay-per-view event or not, then your money depends on all that. Boxing is like, and that, why is that bad? Because that gives all of the control, all of the power, the entire narrative into the promotion. Is the best sport on earth because as a boxer, you can't tell me where I'm fighting. If I want to fight, if my career is going towards a certain trajectory and I'm trending and I'm a Philly guy, I'm not going to go to Denver, Colorado to take a fight. I'm going to fight in Philly. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to jump on a card in, you know, Lexington, Kentucky if I'm from Vegas. Like this is a thing. But in the UFC, they tell you where, they tell you when, they tell you how much. It's all about the control of the promoter there. Boxing, for the most part, a lot of these things, the fighter still has the control on, you know, controlling the narrative to an extent. I'm not betting heavy tonight. Yeah, go halfies. Bet only with, yes, that's right. Bet your profit, guys. Now we're talking. Boys are educated. Guys, we're 35 minutes in. We're floating between 60 and 80. First live stream of the day. For all you MMA heads, I'll be going live again in about 3 hours with Nick from Breaking Bad. We got fights starting here in Australia in about 5-6 hours. All the Aussies That fight card will be streamed on Stan Sport if you have it. If you're in the Discord, I'm sure it'll be streaming in our Discord. It's one of the best things about the JSB community is we are a global community, and we'll like last week we were. It seems like it was 18 months ago, but last Tuesday we're watching Japan live stream fights. Monday we had Japan fights, and I assume we'll somebody will be popping those fights in the Discord as well. The Boss Christos. Is there an underdog you like? Nope. I don't like. I don't like any dogs on the Aussie card. Boxing fan, salute to you, big dog. Appreciate you. 50 plus people, 15 likes. I know, man. You know, the boys should know by now. I just think the boys don't like me asking for things. I don't ask for a lot. So we should make it automatic. You come in, hit the like, thumb up. Appreciate you, boxing fan. Get those NBA, get those Major League Baseball props cracking. Any of you guys have action on the NBA game? I did put a little prop bet on. And oh my God, such a low scoring game. Paulo is not playing well. I expected Paulo Banchero to have another good game. Not happening for me. So unless Paulo gets on fire, that prop won't hit. But you can't hit them all as a plus 1,600. After I hit the plus 1,100 yesterday, I was like, I'll do a little plus 1,600, little prop play. What's up, fellas? Let's get it, John. Donovan has no 10-round experience. Maloney has like 200 rounds. Massive factor. And this is what you got to look at, guys. And this is what I do my best on my channel, on my platform, is to educate. What keeps my lights on at this moment is my coaching business. I'm also a teacher. I'm also a writer. And then this is my second passion project. So educating is a very important component to this. You can't just look at a guy's record. You have to unpeel that record. If you're not watching, I assume a lot of you guys are watching fights tape. Some of you guys just listen to me, which is fine. But we see this week in and week out. You see records. You have to really see, all right, where are they fighting? Who are they fighting? How long's the fight? How are they doing in these fights? Who's their opponent? What's their opponent's record? Because perfect example, what have you done for me lately? It's fresh on my mind. Aston Brown last week was a favorite against Sam Gilly. Aston only had 9 pro fights in a 7-year career. We know all about it. I don't like harping on the past, even though we won. But he was the favorite because the odds makers, they don't do the work we do. The odds makers just saw that Aston Brown's last 3 fights were 3 knockout wins in the first and second round. And Sam Gilly's last fight was a decision loss to Ishmael Davis and a draw to a guy who was 7-5. So whatever algorithm they're using to spit opening odds out, that plays in our favor. Because we then knew to look a little bit deeper. Who's Aston Brown been fighting? Who's his opponents been fighting? And you're seeing guys with 0-9 records and 13-182 records. And that plays in for our hand because then we get a guy like Sam Gilly at plus 600 by knockout. And you can have a guy, and he had 9 knockouts going into it. And this is why I like Maloney by knockout here, is that in Maloney, he has 20 knockouts of 28 wins, so he could punch. But even if he didn't, levels matter. So you could have a guy at a higher level who might be a decision fighter, but somewhere along his trajectory, he'll be leveling up. And if he goes against a guy even a level below him, he'll stop that guy based off of, precision, timing, volume, ring IQ, all that good stuff. So it's not, part of the game is understanding all of that. 365 as prop bets. I don't do boxing punch props. I'll do boxing method of victory, and that's about it. I'll do NBA prop bets though. So I need. Look at it. Everything's Paulo's. I just needed Paulo to score 20 plus. He has 11. It's only in the third, but they're getting spanked now. Hopefully he has a big. Hopefully they Detroit removes their starters. Has to be one underdog. Well, not always, brother. Not always. That's not always the case. When's the last time you saw an underdog win on a top rank card? Top rank underdog fighters never win. A-sides always win on top rank. Eye of the Tiger cards in Canada. A-side fighters, generally speaking, at least 90% of the time, the favorites will always win on the Eye of the Tiger cards. What else? No limit cards, same thing. No limit promotions down here in Australia. A lot of these Aussie domestic cards. Because Australia is so far away from everybody, these promotional companies want to build their fighters up. How do we get a fighter to go from a domestic fighter to international? You have to build that record up. And, viral moments speak for themselves. I watched some of Nunes. I think he's getting stopped. Yeah. Yeah. He's leaky. We're talking about the kid who's 17-0 with a suspect 17-0 record against the Cuban who's 6-0. Yeah. I can see that. I was just bringing it up to you guys to have a look. Mahoney by stoppage. We're locked in, baby. We're locked in. Maloney it's only a 10 rounder. I don't get too sexy on all that. A stoppage is enough for me. Jalen Duran. Detroit is up by 30 points. Johnny, I really like Jared Anderson to win. So the Deckers, yeah, I think Anderson should get back on the winning track. I mean, people still judge him for the slip and slide that he had and his inactivity. I don't know what the odds are. We'll have a look. Fellas, how's it hanging? What's up, Rando Light? Rando Light is back. Arislandi Alvarez is a 2024 Olympic gold medalist. It would be a catastrophic upset. We saw it happen in Robesi, but that was a 4-rounder. This is a 10. The Cuban should. Once again, you're not speaking lies. You're not. But we've seen this time and time again with Olympic medalists. Soufiane Omaha. Soufiane Omaha is fighting this weekend. He was a French Olympian. He was a 7-1 favorite. He lost last year. Albert Badargaziev was a 6-1 favorite against Jazza Dickens. He was an Olympian. He lost last year. Galal Yafai was a 5-1 favorite against Frankie Rod. He was an Olympian. He lost last year. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that. And I mean, think about how many the Cuban Olympic pedigree at this stage of the game. I don't trust. I'm sorry. I've seen it in the last 24 months. Cubans turning over from their amateur pedigree, going into the pros and losing. So we're about to see another one with Leonard Perro. We're about to see another one with Leonard Perro. But I'm not saying Alvarez is going to lose. We pick up on patterns. You know what I'm saying? What is the safe bet, Maloney? The safest of the Maloney bet would be him on the money line. We can't use the word safe and value in the same sentence. So what's the safest bet for Maloney? Just to win. Appreciate the advice, Johnny. Been taping, studying Leo Elaine, Mike. Bro, I like Reese Aleem here. People aren't. Angela Leo has won me money in the past. Angela Leo has won me money multiple times in the past. Watched his career, watched him level up on the pro box circuit. I watched Reese Aleem fight live against Sam Goodman. It's Reese Aleem's only loss. Reese Aleem could box, man. Reese Aleem is slick. The Reese Aleem who lost to Sam Goodman beats Angela Leo. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's see what those odds are. May 10th. Wow, plus 210. I mean, I'm gonna be hitting Reese Aleem on points all day long here. Reese Aleem on points plus 340. Depending on, this is early read. We got 2 weeks from now. That'll probably be my prop of the week and dog of the week. I like Reese to beat Leo here. People sleep on him, man. Watch his tape. There's a lot to like about his tape. And I don't think that Angela Leo is fully developed yet. I think he's how old's Angela? 26? Aleem is in his prime. I think Leo is good. He could punch. I think there's some holes though. In his approach, in his offense. Aleem will have to be on his A game, but I think these odds are a bit wide, man. 1.72 McIntyre. I'm telling these people, JSI. Let them know 2409. Pray for us. Fire. What do you mean fire? Where are you at, Cody? Let me Google this. Where are there fires going on in the world? Where you at? Prayers up for Cody. We good, Maloney, Mahoney, knockout. We still good. All right, I'll pull the Jared odds up. Two weeks from now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Jared Anderson should shine here. Probably gonna wait to play a prop on that. Brantley County, Georgia. Damn, bro. Is it just Georgia, Georgia, Georgia on my mind. Brantland Highway 82 fire, possibly active. Top stories: firefighters struggling to get Brantley County fire under control amid difficult conditions. 10%. How the hell how does this happen in Georgia, brother? Schools remain closed in the county. Firefighters struggling to get Brantley County fire under control amid difficult conditions. I don't like being in Sydney. So I live in a fire zone. So we have fire season. Here in New South Wales, Australia, we have fire season. So they'll do controlled burns throughout the year. It's old school slash and burning farming, basically, that the Aboriginals were doing. I might be wrong on that. It's a hunter and gatherer sort of system that they still use here. They'll burn certain parts to control burning when the weather, the climate is so hot and the winds are so bad. They do it to control that when that happens. And I lived in LA County, Orange County for 7 years, and I remember there'd be wildfires in Malibu and in the hills, Oxnard, but I don't ever remember wildfires on the East Coast. Firefighters struggling. This is insane. Was this man-made or is this natural? Schools remain closed in county with some mandatory evacuations. A fast-moving wildfire exploded. 50 homes destroyed. The fire contained was ordered. Unpredictable weather conditions. Wildfire 10% contained was rapidly growing northeast direction despite massive destruction. Only one injury. One injury. I'll be very honest with you. It's a miracle we don't have more lives lost. That's insane, man. Stay safe. That's nothing to mess around with. Fire's insane. What's good, Johnny? Can Xavier Fletcher get a knockout? Are you getting odds? I was gonna play it. I don't know if we're getting greedy. The Xavier Fletcher money line odd for me, $1.25 is all I'm getting. Yeah, Xavier. I'll tell you my insight on Xavier Fletcher. It's a limited insight, but I'll tell you. Yeah, he's fighting Bongani Sabanda. Okay, so one of my clients is a boxer, an amateur boxer here in Australia, Commonwealth level. So he's qualifying. He has a tournament next week, and hopefully he qualifies for the Olympics. He knows all these guys. So I asked him about this fight, and I think they call Bongani. Bongani has a nickname. It's either Boombastic, whatever it is. I was like, is Bongani live in this fight against Fletcher? And my boy's like, nah. Xavier Fletcher's legit. Bongani is a guy that, is well liked in the scene, but he's going to be outclassed and outmatched. I don't have a prop on this, so I don't know which way I go. $1.28 for a guy that my boy told me that. Then again, though, boys, we remember what happened 2 weeks ago. We remember what happened 2 weeks ago in Australia on that card where he was where they matched up a 19-year-old kid who is a 6-1 favorite against a 30-year-old Indonesian guy, and he got the dog piss beat out of him. It was our only loss. So bet accordingly on Xavier Fletcher. He's on my parlay. I'm hoping it doesn't reach my house. Bro, that's scary times. I know it's crazy. So dry, no rain. Oh my God, so it's weather. Damn, Georgia. One of my favorite places on that part of the world is Savannah, Georgia. I played short season minor league baseball in 2001 and 2002. This small little affiliate in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and we would play from like May till pretty much Memorial Day to Labor Day. So from like May to like end of August, early September, that period of months playing baseball down there. And we would go to I love Charleston. You know, Myrtle Beach was fun at the time. It was just a big old party, a big old orgy when you're down there and you're 19 and 20 with your boys and you're an athlete. It was crazy. But I love South Carolina. We'd go down to Charleston, South Carolina, which was great. Savannah, though, man. Savannah, Georgia is classy. Let's all say a prayer for Cody P. dealing with the wildfires. Andre Donovan looks tiny. He little baby. Little Donovan. Little Andre Donovan. Little little Dre Donovan. Man-made. That is insane. Now that changes the narrative. Man-made is insane. We got lunatics out there. Just people who are so demented and twisted mentally that they have lost connection with reality and have totally have a disregard for other life is crazy, man. Brian Hall, are we on that? Hell no. Fuck no. Fuck no. Fuck no. Fuck no. Hell no. Hell to the nah. Hell no. Leonard Perro is very mid, and Jarrell Miller is going to dog walk him. That's my play. Xavier knockout, 3.5 point. I know that's play at your own risk. Shoot. I got no read on that, brother. I got no read on it. It's 10. You put me on the spot. Xavier, I would play knockout. Where I'm at right now, I would play knockout. You know, I'm on a heat. It's a heat check for me. Jux, it's a heat check for me. Hey, Johnny, you see Bilal Fawaz handling Ryan Kelly? I do. You know, you've been on the channel a while. You know, Bilal has been winning us money. Bilal is trending as well. You know, I like, you know, in a small amount of time. How does a guy level up in a small amount of time? You need to stay active. Okay. Now, staying active, you can't just fight anyone. You have to, in that staying active, however long it's been, you need to slowly level up. Junaid Boston twice, draw, victory. I like it. Leveled up. Ishmael Davis. Now all of a sudden he's getting the Ryan Kelly fight. Now all of a sudden we're thinking, holy shit, Bilal Fawaz could fight for a title. Bilal Fawaz versus Pretty Boy Kelly? I mean, what are we talking about? You know, you never know. Bilal Fawaz, sometimes in generations you have guys who literally come out of nowhere with a little spark, a little flame. And Bilal Fawaz has that right now. And this will be the first fight that I'm going to bet on him where he's the favorite. He's always been the dog. Guys, we got 53, 63, 54 minutes in. Let's like this video. May 2nd, I like Inoue, Bilal, Benavidez. Let's do it. 100%. Why get sexy? Let's see what that pays. Inoue, Bilal, and Benny. That's pretty good value there. Wow. Bro, we're plus money. Plus 112. I love that triple, mate. I would go heavy on that. Benny, Inoue, and Bilal on the money line is plus 112 right now. I mean, what else could why we don't need to get greedy. That's a money line triple plus money line triple. I love that. I might play that now, which I never do. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you, Cody. Patty Donovan, Karen Chukic, and Mayfield. Is that on the books? I'm not a big fan of Patty. I'm sorry. Oh yeah. I thought Patty Donovan lost his last 2 fights. Oh yeah, Karen. Let's go, Karen. And new. Karen Chukichin and new. Tricky Ukrainian fighter. I don't think Patty's gonna have enough volume for him. Hold on, I always get mixed up with 2 fighters before I misspeak. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Patty Donovan is not who I thought he was. You guys are gonna laugh at me. I like Patty Donovan. You know who I thought Patty Donovan was? And this is a rookie year? Lewis Crocker. I get mixed. I don't know why, dude. I've always got mixed up with Patty Donovan and Lewis Crocker, and I think it's because both names have 4 syllables and 2 in the first name and 2 in the last. Patty, Lewis, Crocker, Donovan. Like, I've always got mixed up. I like Patty to beat Chukichin based off of, I don't know if Patty could do some things in there. I do like Chukichin. That's a tough fight. Now I'm torn. If that was Karen Chukichin versus Lewis Crocker, and there'd be no Anu. Lewis Crocker's a champion. That was my misspeak. I get confused with those 2 guys, and I have been getting confused with those 2 fighters for years. Okay, if that was Karen Chukichin versus Lewis Crocker, I would take Chukichin. I would. I think he would beat Lewis Crocker. I think he's going to struggle a little bit more with Patty Donovan. Does Patty Donovan have the seasoning to beat Chukichin? That's a good fight, man. I didn't know that fight was going down. Hell yeah, that's a good fight. We're freaking nerds, dude. We're freaking nerds. Dude, this shit really excites us. I fucking love it. Sorry, Mom, for dropping an F-bomb. I used to swear all the time on these things. If you guys are ever bored, you could go to Facebook and go to my page. I used to live stream in like 2014, and I would take my tripod and I would put it outside of my gym, and I would do these live streams before my gym would open with like people in Sydney walking by, and I'd be talking shit. I'd be swearing all the time. My mom would be like, "You never know, your grandmother's watching. Could you please stop swearing?" I was like, "All right, Mom." I was younger then. I'm an old man now. John McGanna. Yeah, hopefully I redeem myself. I like Patty. I damn, dude, I'm torn because Patty does have this sort of thing of like fighting above his boots a bit, getting all aggressive and then getting clipped and wanting to get it back. But when he calms down and gets cooking and he starts fighting his fight and he's patient and he doesn't force things, he's a force to be reckoned with. I think he should be the champion right now. I think Lewis Crocker is the one. I think Chukichin would dominate. I think Chukichin would make the Crocker fight look easy. I think this fight's gonna be more difficult. Yeah, hopefully I redeem myself. Yeah, Patty. Yeah, okay. He just screwed up the first time and won the second. Yeah, I know. More skills. Way more skilled. Oh, Angel Calito. Do you guys think Teo versus Lindolfo? I think it's a great fight for both guys. I think Lindolfo Delgado may be one of the luckiest undefeated fighters we have in the world right now. We talk, and I'm not hating. He won us money. Lindolfo won us money against Elvis Rodriguez. Lindolfo won us money against Collazo. Could have lost both fights. I thought the Collazo fight was actually the one where we got luckiest. People, Elvis Rodriguez, people thought that could have went either way as well. But he got decisions in both, and he's undefeated. He's marketable, plays the part, looks the part, ticks all the boxes. Olympian, and it's a great I hope it gets made for Delgado's camp, and I hope it gets made for Teo because I think Delgado's going to be bigger. He's obviously there's not much else from a physical advantage that he's going to have. Teofimo Lopez, the knock on him is what adjustments will he have made? What lessons will he have learned? I'm expecting a still young, a Teofimo Lopez who shared the ring with Shakur Stevenson for 12 rounds, even though he got beat from pillar to post. Teofimo Lopez is great enough, great, not good, one of the greats in this era, to take that loss and take things with him. If he doesn't allow his ego to get in the way, if he allows himself to grow from that loss and not be psychologically damaged from that loss, I expect Teo to level up in his future fights. And it's something that, like, I've bet against Teofimo Lopez multiple times. I took Shakur to beat him. We won money. I took ABJ to beat him. We lost money. I took Lomachenko to beat him. So in people, when they see those picks, people, you're a Teo hater. I was like, no, I'm not. What are you talking about? Teofimo Lopez is one of my favorite fighters to watch. He's just there's a few of those intangible questions that you have with a guy that's so athletic, so gifted. Shakur taught him a lot about range. Shakur taught him a lot about timing. Shakur taught him a lot about fight IQ. Shakur taught him a lot about having a plan B. Shakur taught him a lot about not showing your cards either. Shakur's poker face the entire time. God damn it, Shakur Stevenson's a beast. Jesus. Shakur Stevenson's a goddamn dog, dude. I don't get you. If you guys aren't on board now, that kid is so goddamn good. I think the only thing that Teo might have to be wary of is Lindolfo's size. So we'll see. I like that 3-leg too. Second, Johnny. I like David by decision. Zero never been dropped or stopped. Yeah, and it's David's first fight at Cruiser. Always got to keep that in mind. I just dropped a breakdown for the Rafferty Esmond fight. I think the books are crazy for giving us another Sam Gilly. Barry, did you post that in the Discord? You know, we still got 55 to 65 people in here. We're an hour in. If that's in the Discord, I'm going to play it for everybody. Guys, Barry Unboxing is one of our secret silent assassins in our group. He does these awesome breakdowns. I want to see if it's in the Discord. And if it is, he's going to get some screen time. All right, so this is I gotta get back to TJ. TJ's messaging me. All right, perfect. So guys, this is one of our, I'm gonna remove your comment. So this is from Barry Unboxing. This is one of the what makes our group great. What makes our group great is because our group is filled with very sharp-minded boxing fans who, it's not just what I'm saying, right? It's stuff like this. So Barry Unboxing, Jack Demolition Man Rafferty versus Echo Esimon. And Barium does these breakdowns for us, these analysis for us weekly. He goes, right away, their nicknames tell you a story. Jack Rafferty, a.k.a. the Demolition Man. Now, when you hear that, you think controlled destruction, a guy who knows where to place the charges and bring the building down clean. But this is more like a guy swinging a wrecking ball blindfolded. He's coming forward. He's got intent. He'll work. He'll try to break you down, but there's no blueprint, no structure. On top of that, he leans over that front foot. His feet are slow, poor balance, head right there to be hit. No real jab to guide him. And when he gets there, he covers up, but almost blinds himself, like pulling the curtain shut and hoping the storm passes. Now across the ring, the engine, and that nickname, that's not branding. That's identity. He starts maybe a round or two to warm, and then the motor kicks in. And once it does, it doesn't sputter, it builds. Round by round, the pressure increases, the pace climbs, and suddenly, you're not just fighting a man, you're trying to keep up with something that doesn't slow down. Echo is more polished, has better feet, better balance, better understanding of distance. He uses his jab, not just as a touch, but as a tool. Head, body, setting rhythm in the feints, the subtle shifts, the herky-jerky movement, they force you to think before you act. And Rafferty, for all of his effort, he's not a thinker in there. He's a doer. This reminds me in a broader sense of fights like Antonio Margarito versus Kermit Cintron, where you had one guy who thrived in chaos, but the other guy was simply more built for sustained pressure. Different fighters, but the same principle. Not all pressure is created equal. Rafferty brings volume, yes, but it's raw and unrefined. Esumon brings structured pressure, the kind that wears on you, breaks your rhythm, and eventually breaks your resistance. Now, this is Rafferty's first fight at welterweight, and he opens as the favorite. That tells you something about perception. But when you look at reality, level of opposition, experience, consistency, Esteban has the edge. And this is the kind of fight where those edges matter more as the rounds move on. Early, it'll be competitive. Both guys coming forward, both willing to engage. It won't be pretty. It'll be physical, gritty, the kind of fight where positioning matters as much as punches. But as we move into the middle rounds, that's when the engine starts to hum. Rafferty's flaws, balance, defense, lack of jab, they don't just remain flaws, they become targets. He'll be there to get hit. And Esteban, with that work rate and conditioning, will start to capitalize. Jab to the body, combinations on the ropes, controlled aggression. And Rafferty will fight. He'll give you everything he has. That's not in question. But effort without structure over time tends to erode. So when I look at the totality of it, I see a very entertaining fight early and a very clear fight late. Prediction: Echo Esteban by late stoppage or wide decision. And I denote at this time there are no lines available on the stoppage, but thankfully there's excellent value on the money line. I'm taking that right now at plus 175. Bro, you are a beast. Let's see those odds. Shout out to my boy Barry in boxing. That dude is a savage. So Barium likes, you know, it's interesting too. How do we get there? I'm gonna wrap up shortly, guys. I'm going live in an hour. I'm going live in 90 minutes with Nick from Breaking Bad to talk about the MMA. Echo Esteban Rafferty. So this is what we just read. Echo's plus 190. Boys, let's go. So this is a Barry unboxing special. Plus 190. Great breakdown. Excellent breakdown as usual. You know what's interesting is that his name is Barium Boxing, as in Buryem. But when you look at on the periodic table, the word barium is an alkaline earth metal, most notably for its use as a radio contrast agent in medical imaging, the production of green colors and fireworks. As a dense drilling fluid additive in the oil and gas industry, it is highly reactive and poisonous in its soluble form. Barium. Styles make fights. Landolfo versus Teo could be similar fights. That was a good fight. Sandor Martin had his moments. Robert Garcia could make Landolfo box since Teo can't really go forward. You mean Teo doesn't like boxing off of his back foot? Teo can't really go forward. You mean Teo doesn't like punching backing up? Guys, I got to wrap it up. Stay tuned. I'm going live in 2 hours with Nick from Breaking Bad. Bring your UFC questions. Bring your MMA picks. This is fun as always. We got fights starting in about 5 hours in Australia. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Join our Discord. You guys are the best. We still good.